very hard to...
This meeting is being recorded.
It's very hard to discriminate those sounds against each other. And so when we're singing, we're slowing down those words. So you can speed it up or slow down as much as you want, but you can go brown bear, what do you see? And all of their little brains are taking in that auditory stimulation, and they are able to break down all of those phonemes. So it's increasing that phonological awareness, which they will need to eventually be able to sound out words and read, and it directly impacts their early literacy. So our next one is that music increases print awareness. So let's see here. Okay, so this is just a picture of me and some of my Storytime kids playing with instruments on the ground during playtime. So I just love to share that picture with everybody. But most children become aware of print long before they start school. What letter is that? That's an A. You know, you're reading a book to your 2-year-old and you're saying, oh, your name is Esther. Esther starts with E. Can you find an E? So they're going to be incorporating print into daily life well before they go to school. They see magazines, they see signs on billboards, they see storybooks, newspapers. It's all over the place. Even in like ads on phones or tablets or on educational games, they're going to be aware of print long before they start school. So awareness of print provides a backdrop against which reading and writing are best learned. A child's introduction to pattern text often first occurs in songs and chants and rhymes that are repeated again and again through childhood. One that we do that I'll show you later, that a chant that incorporates rhyme is bee, bee, bumblebee. Can you say your name for me? Your name is Rachel. Let's go to my next friend. And they're incorporating that patterned text over and over again in the rhyme, or if you use nursery rhymes like hickory dickory dock, and you can show them the words and sound out the rhymes like, oh, which one? Hickory dickory dock, the mouse runs up the clock. Which words rhyme? And you can give them options. And once they're familiar with this patterning, the more excited they are and able they are to participate in shared reading, writing, and other like language experiences. So concepts about print become more meaningful, and conventions of print are learned in context. So substitutions in songs, chants, and poems can provide for real language development. So if you start with, let's see, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. My wrist's a little sore, so I'm just going to clap my arm. But then you change it to, hello, Mr. Turkey, how are you? Which is a song we're doing next week for Thanksgiving. You are taking that familiar tune, but you're adding new language to it. And so they're like, oh, I can sing this, but it's new to me. And they're getting more and more language from using those repetitive melodies in your story time. So sometimes I get a little over the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star tune, but it's so good. You can do the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star tune with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, ABCs, Baba Black Sheep, Brown Bear, Brown Bear. I've written songs to go with that tune. Last year for All Together Now, I did one that was based in community. And so it was, we have a community where people live like you and me. And we went over like firefighters, nurses, police in that song. So you can write your own songs to familiar tunes to be able to help that print awareness and also incorporate new language into your kids' storytime routine. So let's see where I was. I looked up from my notes and I got on a tangent. So when emergent readers see printed words and text again and again, they can come to identify those words and phrases by their similarities or configurations. All right. Our next point today, before we jump into the fun, is that music instruction refines that auditory discrimination. I was kind of talking about that earlier with the phonemes and the phonological discrimination. So it increases the auditory sequencing ability. So basically by auditory discriminations, it means that it increases their ability to hear different sounds. So when we sing, I was talking about this earlier, we're slowing the phonemes of each word. So a great example that was used in teaching me to read was a tool that my mom used, which was called the ABCs with Ace and Christy. And I still remember, I was 4 when I learned this poem, but I will always remember it. And so you can see that the letter A has a lot of different phonemes. You can say A, you can say aw, and like awesome. You can say A as in ape. You can say A as in cat. So there are a lot of different phonemes that come with A that you're not going to get by just looking at the A. And so specifically to this program, they put like a line over the long A and a little like swoop over the short A. But this poem I have had in my head for almost 25 years is the aging ape was out of shape because he ate and ate and ate. And you just hit on that one phoneme of the letter, and it's increasing that auditory discrimination of like, oh, so when I see an ape, the A makes an A sound and not an ah or an ah sound. So that is a program. I think it's still available, but that's like I think it does cost money, but they have little poems and flashcards for every like phonological sound that you could think of, and it's a lot of fun. Or you can make up your own. So what we had touched on a little bit earlier is using American Sign Language in Storytime. With songs and rhymes. And so again, I'm going to say I am not an interpreter. I am not an ASL teacher. This is just what I do to incorporate sign language in my story time. And I encourage you to learn from a interpreter or certified ASL teacher, but I can show you what I do. So here are some points to signing in story time. So signing makes programs and lessons instantly more participative. So you can say A for ape. This is an ape, or there are 4 apes. Can you count them with me? And then just count them. Or you can teach them the numbers 1, 2, 3. 3 is a little harder, but they get it. And 4. And you can say, can you count the apes with me? 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're thinking about their hands, they're hearing the numbers, they're incorporating it with the amount of like, it could be dinosaurs. I just have apes in my head right now. With the amount of whatever you're counting on your magnet board or felt board. And they're able to participate in learning the numbers as opposed to just kind of saying them along with you, which is great, but it just adds that extra movement to add to their memory. Signing with children stimulates that language development because they're coupling the language with the sign. Baby sign is huge right now. My one thing, and it's my instructor's thing too, is make sure whatever baby sign books you're doing and recommending is based in American Sign Language or it's just made up. There's a ton of baby sign that's just made up and it's not real sign language. And then you're signing something that doesn't mean anything. So just make sure it's based in American Sign Language when you're using baby sign. Signing can reduce frustration with kiddos between kids and adults because it's giving them a means of communication when they might not have the words yet. And it is a multi-sensory experience. Signing also enhances social skills, identifying and managing emotions, encouraging stronger connections between both hemispheres of the brain, enhances early literacy skills by connecting those concepts. I could talk on and on about the ways that signing affects early literacy and learning in children. But I'm going to give you some examples. So this next slide, this is what I say every time before we learn signs in my sign language. And this is just a picture of me and Kate DiCamillo because I like to share it because I met her a couple years back. But this is what we say, and this is what my instructor taught me and what she would teach you if you were to go through this course, is that immediately before you teach sign, we say that American Sign Language is a real language that uses our hands, our face, and our whole body to communicate. So what you're doing with that is you are segmenting sign language as its own language and culture, not just actions that go along with English words. And it's very important that they know that so that as they come to learn more American Sign Language, that they have the right frame around that learning. So let's see. ASL song rhymes and examples. So I have a couple. that were really popular a couple years back with Oceans of Possibilities. We worked on our counting. And so to count to 10, and you can do it with me if you want. I can't see you, so it's not a big deal. You don't have to feel embarrassed or whatever. So it's 1. It's pretty similar for the first 5. 1, 2, 3. You pop out your thumb instead. 4 and 5. Normally when you're counting, you would actually have your palm faced to yourself. But when you're just counting one by one, you can have your palm faced either way. But you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then this is why the turn is important, because it's when you're counting to more than 5. You're going to turn your hand 6. So what we would know is 3, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I normally do 1 through 5 for my like infants and a lot of my pre-Kers. Some of them can do up to 10, but the rhyme works really well with 5. And so we sang a song with Oceans of Possibilities called One Little Blue Fish. And so you can incorporate every color if you want, or you can just stick with blue. We just stuck with blue most of the time. So it was just one little blue fish. Oh, that's a new sign. So the way you would teach that, so blue, you put all your fingers together and fold in your thumb and wave it back and forth, blue. So you'd sing one little blue, and then to make your fish, turn your B on its side and pop out your thumb for a fin, fish. And the sign language sign for swim is this, but that's not how a fish swims. That's how a person swims. So that's called a classifier, and you would just start to swim your fish around, because that makes way more sense with a visual language like sign language. So you would just sing, one little blue fish swimming in the water, swimming in the water, swimming in the water. One little blue fish swimming in the water, bubble, 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 pop. And the clap is just an action, but this is actually bubble in sign language as well. So what's really cool about using ASL and rhyme and song is you can incorporate as many signs as you want, or you can limit it to as many signs as you want. You don't have to do every color and every number. You can just stick with one little blue fish. But if you have 5 different colored fish on your magnet board or felt board, you can say, well, what other color fish do you see? And then you're incorporating the call and response and the memory. And they can be like, oh, an orange fish. And then you can teach orange, yellow, red. You can teach all of the different colors, and they can do a call and response. And then at the end, you can even do object permanence, which is like, oh, close your eyes. One fish swam away. Open them. What color? Can you sign what color swam away? And if it was the yellow one, they could all sign the yellow. And if they just shout it, because they will, you can be like, yes, yellow. Can you sign yellow? And it just really adds to an interactive and engaging learning experience for your kids. So I highly recommend learning sign language. The reason why I started learning sign language is I was on the bookmobile, and we had a little girl come out on the bookmobile who had cochlear implants, and her teacher's aide didn't know any sign for her, and the amplifier doesn't work out in the bookmobile, so she can hear even with her cochlear implants in. And after kind of like a frustrating display between the two of like this little girl not knowing anything, before I even knew sign, I knew, you want book? And so I was just like, wait, which is actually wait. And I looked at her and I just said, do you want a book? Yes or no? And she said yes. And I said, okay, look around. And she went to look, and it was like 6 signs maybe that just completely changed her experience on the bookmobile that day. Instead of being frustrated, she was excited. So that's why I started learning sign, and we have several deaf patrons that come into the library that I'm able to help more so. I'm by no means fluent, but I'm able to help more so than if I didn't know. So that's kind of the end of the presentation. That is more of the instruction and knowledge and theory behind music and literacy, and so now is the fun. These are some tools that I love to use. So these are ways to incorporate music, instruments, and more into your story time. So I've got some with me. Our first one is shaker eggs. So shaker eggs is a fun and inexpensive instrument that you can use easily for your story time. And if you can't buy the eggs, if you've got leftover Easter eggs, you can fill them, like I filled mine, I think, with rice. Or you could do perler beads or whatever you want, and then you just kind of glue them shut and then put like washi tape over the center to make them fun and so that the glue doesn't like come apart or get picked on. And you can just use regular Easter eggs and make your shaker eggs. I've got the little musical ones that you can get on Amazon. You can get like 12 for $8, I think. And so the benefits of shaker eggs is that include social adaptability, self-control. Because can you imagine giving a 3-year-old and saying, "Don't shake your egg"? All they want to do is shake their egg. So they're really using those tiny little self-control skills to be like, "No, I was told I didn't get to shake the egg yet." Or, "Can you shake the egg with me?" And then they're listening and they're able to couple it with the beat and they're learning a rhythm. So a couple of my favorite shaker egg songs include "We Shake Our Eggs Together," and then you can do like silly little songs that you already know, but then just switch the language. So if you're happy and you know it, shake your egg. If you're happy and you know it, shake your egg. And you can, it's such a simple way to incorporate music into your story time. So these are 2 songs that I love to use shaker eggs for. And so we shake our eggs together. You can pretend you have an egg if you're not, but otherwise you can just listen to me sing to you, I suppose. But we start and we shake our eggs. And at first I always give them test shakes. I'm like, test them out. Make sure your eggs work. Of course they're going to work, but it's fun. And then it's like, all right, can you match my beat? And then everybody's listening. I've got everybody's attention. And we sing. We shake our eggs together. We shake our eggs together. We shake our eggs together. And then I say, give a good shake because it's fun to do. And then we shake them up high. And we're using that pitch awareness high. Shake them down low. Shake them in the middle because it's fun to do. And you can have them shake them or you can have them have very quiet and start it again. And you're just all the time increasing those listening skills while having an engaging and fun time. This is the name one that I suggested earlier. You can do it with just clapping. You don't have to have shaker eggs. But you can do it with the shaker eggs too. And it's just, "Bee, bee, bumblebee, can you say your name for me? My name is Miss Rachel. Let's go to our next friend." And you point, "Bee, bee, bumblebee, can you say your name for me? Your name is," because if you're in a larger library system, sometimes you have kids you don't know. Like a lot of the times I have kids that I know, but I had 33 in story time yesterday. There were about 6 kids that I hadn't ever seen before. And the ones that's like, "Oh, I keep on using my niece's name. Let's go to Esther." If I have to know their name, I'm going to feel terrible when I get to the kid that I don't know their name. So I like using the open-ended, "Your name is," and either they get up and they say Ellie, or they are like, and then their mom will say their name, and you can keep on going. So you can do that with claps or shaker eggs. The next tool, I just incorporated this, is ribbon wands. These are actually wedding favor things that they do like ribbon send-offs now. It's pretty. But ribbon wands help students develop coordination and rhythm at an early age, and it also includes their range of motion. So I'm going to back up. So you can have them make big circles and use all those muscles. You can have them make little circles and use the smaller muscles in their wrists. You can use them with songs or stories. So if you were saying Little Red Riding Hood went over the river, you could have them wiggle it. "Oh, she's over the wiggly river and up the mountain. She goes up and down." And you can start using different actions. I do have action cards if anybody's interested. I think my email's on the last slide. That I can give you, that you can like pick 3 actions that go along with your book, and everybody can have a ribbon, and they know every time you say "up the mountain," they go up the mountain with their ribbon wand. So like I said earlier, a lot of the times I just write a song to the tune of "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star." So this is what I did when I first started incorporating ribbons. One, we just did "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star," and we would go above our head and go "Twinkle, twinkle, little star," and then just go the same way down below. How I wonder what you are. And then back up above the world so high. And then you can try to incorporate some shapes if you'd like. It's a little harder for them, but like a diamond in the sky, and try to make a diamond shape. And then just do the same thing. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. So this is what I wrote to the same tune. It's ribbons dancing everywhere, on the ground or in the air, twirling, whirling up and down, waving, wiggling all around. Ribbons dancing everywhere. Ribbons are so fun to share, and they love these. But yeah, I just incorporated them, and they're having a great time with them. They do get tangled. So if you can get one that only has one ribbon, that's cool too. But you can, you can look up ribbon wand wedding favors. You can get a pack of 30 for $15. A lot of the times I just get things on Amazon. I hate to say it, but that's just what I do. The next tool that I use that I also just incorporated is rhythm sticks. So this might seem overwhelming. I'm like, there's this, there's this, there's this, there's this. You can use all these things. You can just start with clapping. You don't have to buy any of this stuff. It's just stuff that you can use and incorporate if you want to and be more engaging. But clapping is just as fun as tapping. But just so that nobody gets overwhelmed with all these different things I'm showing you. A lot of the times I only did like, and I'll show them later, 2 of these tools for like 2 years before I incorporated anything else. So rhythm sticks. Rhythm sticks increase hand-eye coordination. They improve gross and fine motor skills because they're holding, and it actually is like almost a pre-writing skill because they're using that gross motor function and they have to grip it. And so eventually when you're learning pinch and flip to write, you've got a pre-writing skill just in using some rhythm sticks. And it helps children identify rhythm and beats of songs and the beat of the song to the words. So one thing I always say, because giving children sticks is going to immediately turn into a sword battle, is I hold my rhythm sticks together and I say, this is my rhythm stick, and I make them repeat it if they can. I said, we don't use our rhythm sticks to hit ourselves. We don't use our rhythm sticks to hit each other or our grown-ups or anybody else's rhythm sticks. We only hit our rhythm stick with our other rhythm stick. And most of them get it. Some of them are young, much younger, and they don't maliciously go to smack anybody with it, but they might be a little bit more loose with it. But my 3s and olders, they're like, okay, these are my rhythm sticks. And I haven't had a problem yet. So these are a couple of the fun rhythm songs that I've done, and these will all be available as well in the packet that Denise has on the website. So the first one is called Let's Make a Pizza, and this one you're incorporating a beat. So you're clap together and then down. So you can either clap together down on the floor or down on the table or your lap. That might hurt though, so I probably wouldn't do lap. I would just sit on the floor and do it. So it goes, let's make a pizza, me and you. Let's make a pizza, 1 or 2. Let's make a pizza, me and you. Follow me, here's what we'll do. And then this is when we stop the beat, but we start doing actions. Let's roll the dough. And then you'll have a repeat, roll the dough. Let's spread the sauce. And you're swishing. Let's grate some cheese. And you're sliding. And in the oven, please. And you're pretending to put your pizza in the oven. And then you go back to your beat and see if they can match it and if they've remembered it. So you're helping all of that gross motor function, body awareness, all of it. One that we also like is cross your sticks. So you start out with them crossed in the air. So it's cross your sticks in the air, in the air. Tap your sticks in the air, in the air. Tap your sticks in the air and do it with a flare. Tap your sticks in the air, in the air. Flare, that's a funny word. What do you think flare is? Maybe they know it. Odds are they don't. Flare just means do it really fancy. So, and do it with a flare. Tap your sticks in the air, in the air. And then you tap them on the floor and you can just tap them. The offices are right under my Storytime room. So every time I do this, they say it sounds like somebody's roofing up here. So just a warning. But it's tap your sticks on the floor, on the floor. Tap your sticks on the floor, on the floor. Tap your sticks on the floor, then do it some more. Tap your sticks on the floor, on the floor. There's so many rhythm stick songs, but it's definitely become a crowd favorite. Rhythm sticks and then scarves, which I'll talk about a little bit later, are definitely my top two that kids get very excited for. All right. Let's see. So the next thing, this might seem a little scary, is ukulele. And so that's an actual picture of my ukulele, or at least the same one. I use ukulele every story time to open up story time. Sometimes I'll use it later, not a lot of the time. But it's such a simple instrument. It's not scary. If you already know how to play the ukulele and you're not using it in your story time, bring it in because it just grasps the kids' attention. So it's a very simple instrument to learn. I rarely use more than these 3 chords. So C is on there. You're just putting your first finger, you're putting your finger on the first string on the 3rd fret, and it's C. And you can, my ukulele is out of tune. There we go. All right, so you can just play with C and do. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Just with C. So it's not a scary instrument. And then you can do an F and a G, and you can do that for everything. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or anything that has the Twinkle, Twinkle, Little tunes, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star tune. One that the kids like is 5 Little Speckled Frogs, and I do a little bit of it's a down up slap is the whole thing. So it's 5 little speckled frogs sit on a speckled log, eating the most delicious bugs. Yum, yum. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are 4 green speckled frogs. So you can just really expand it or only use it for one song or even one song a month or a special ukulele story time. The one I use every time is when we start our story time, and it's to the tune of if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. And it's if you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, clap your hands. And then we stomp our feet and we say, I am is the 3rd verse. If you're ready for a story, say, I am. And that's all those 3 chords that you learn right away. And you can expand if you want to, but you never really have to. I Love My Body is a song by Mother Moon. She's on Instagram and TikTok, and she does early childhood songs that are really affirmational and about like body acceptance and emotion acceptance and all of those things. They're great songs. It's one I play on the ukulele, but it is also one that you can use a different tool for, which I don't think I even brought these out at the conference a couple weeks ago. You can use a little mirror. So these little mirrors, they're plastic, so they're not going to shatter, and they're easy to wipe off, are great for eye development. And so they're using their muscles and they're seeing themselves and they're using all of those little muscles in their eyes. Really great for like the smaller kids, like the infants and 1s and 2s, but the older ones like it too. So when you sing this song, it does say I stand, when I look in the mirror. So you can just have your mirror, you can set it aside and you can start with love and sign language or just a hug and sing, I love my body from my head to my toes. I love my face, my eyes, my mouth, my nose. I love the way I look when I look in the mirror. And you can make sure that they grab their mirrors. I'll stand a little closer just to see a little clearer. Who is that? It's me. And I am looking good can be. What else do I say? I tell myself I love me every day. And the moms really like that song, and it's just a lot of fun. I think it has a great message for the kids to hear and know before, media pumps it into their heads, what it pumps into all of our heads about not feeling good enough about our bodies. So I love that song. I encourage you to do that. And like mirrors you can use for anything, and it's just going to always encourage that, like the eye muscle development and being able to like see and look at themselves, and even maybe discover that like their reflection is a thing if they're younger. The last tool I'm going to talk about today is scarves. This is the first tool I ever used in Storytime for music, and it's the favorite. It is definitely the fan favorite. Scarves and rhythm sticks. Ukulele is really fun, but you don't have to do that. But scarves encourage self-regulation skills. So like I said with the eggs earlier, if you don't want to just toss it right away, I don't know why you wouldn't, because it's fun. And kids have even a worse time. So tossing scarves back and forth develops fine motor skills. You can use it to hide objects and develop focus and memory. And you can use it to dance and have them listen to following cues. And so I have scarves in every different color. And these are just juggling scarves on, you guessed it, Amazon. And so you can get those scarves on Amazon. They're just called juggling scarves. I get the 12-inch ones. This is a 24-inch one, and it can trip them up because they're barely taller than that. So that was an accident, and I didn't look at the diameter. But I do have more like 14-inch ones or 12-inch ones that are better for little hands. So again, I will sing to you a couple of my favorites. So Jiggle Your Scarf is super fun. It is on a YouTube channel. I learned it from this YouTube channel that I cannot remember off the top of my head. But it incorporates freezing and the different parts of your body. And this is how it goes. So it goes, jiggle your scarf, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Let's see, jiggle and turn around. Jiggle your scarf, jiggle, 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 jiggle and touch the ground. Jiggle it at your nose, jiggle it at your knees, jiggle it at your toes, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle and freeze. And you can ask them if they're freezing, and they're all laughing because they're really trying hard to freeze. And then you sing again, jiggle your scarf, jiggle, 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 jiggle and turn around. And the very last time you say, jiggle your scarf, jiggle, 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 sit down. And then everybody's is sitting down, ready for the next story. So the way I structure my story time is I use Every Child Ready to Read, which is a program based out of Ohio, which I'm sure a lot of you know about. And so it's the 5 areas of literacy or literacy skills. And so that's read, sing, write, play, and talk. Not in that order. And so for reading and singing, I incorporate that pretty much all at the same time. I do book, song, and then actually it's song, book, because song, book, because I start with a song for the welcome, and then we do 2 songs, either with scarves or a rhyme. Like one day we did 5 Little Ghosts a couple weeks back, and we learned the sign for ghost. So you just do like pinching, and we did American Sign Language with that song. So you'll never get bored, I promise, with all of the different options that you have. Easy tips. So start small. Like I said, I just started incorporating several of these things in the last year. Start with a scarf. Start with clapping. Engage with props, like have your eggs. Remember that singing isn't scary. Most of the moms don't really care what you sound like, and they'll sing along with you. And then that just helps the kids sing. So even if you don't like to sing or you're not really a singer, it's not scary because they're 3. If they were like 8, maybe I'd be a little bit more scared, because 8-year-olds are quicker to be like, you don't sound very good. But, when they're younger than 5, they're normally pretty okay. So 3, I kind of already said it, engage with props. 4, use those familiar melodies. Like use Twinkle Twinkle Star to death until you just can't stand that song anymore, and then you pick something new, because the kids are going to know it, and it's easier for them to get that language acquisition through those new melodies or new lyrics. And then if you don't have instruments, use ASL. There are a lot of free resources online. There's a lot of books. Bill Vickers is somebody on YouTube that has totally free ASL courses. The ALA through the library workers, ASL for library workers, level 1, 2, and 3. I believe you can buy them all together for close to $600, or it's like $200 a class. You get, no, maybe $250 a class. You get a little bit of a deal if you do it all at once. But like, don't be scared. Don't think that you have to have all the things. I by far do not have all of the things. I could incorporate more. But you can do it however you want. That's what I think is the most fun about incorporating music into story time. So here are some resources that I use, and I've got them with me as well. Let me just put my ukulele on the other side of me. Storytime and Beyond is a great one. So having fun with early literacy. It's by Kathy Barco and Melanie Borsky Howard. You go through and it has storytime themes for you, references by letter, all different things that you can incorporate into your story time, using instruments, presenting with a partner, all sorts of things. I love this book. There's also by Kathy McMillan, the ASL instructor, and Christine Kirker, Storytime Magic, 400 finger plays, flannel boards, and other activities. And I actually also have one more that's in my cupboard here of books. If I can find it, oh, there it is. One second. Is Baby's Favorite Rhymes to Sign. If you're wanting to get into sign language, is a great resource. I think I got this on Thrift Books for like $3. It will teach you the signs. So this old man, and then it goes by word. This old man, he played one, and it shows you every single sign to every word. You can decide to incorporate every sign or just pick a couple. So I love Baby's Favorite Rhymes to Sign. That's a good one. And that's by Penny Warner. So I'm going to pop back over to the Zoom and stop sharing my screen and see if anybody has any questions or comments or things that they want to share that they do.
Okay. I saw something. There was a chat, some chats here. I have to find my chat. There it is. Okay.
You do not have to be a member of the ALA to take those classes.
That was the one I saw. And then I thought I had some others, but I think that's all the questions I had. I do want to mention that I do have the presentation because some of you probably noticed that I started the recording a little late, even though I had this huge neon pink sign that says hit record. I didn't. So the first couple of slides are not in this presentation in the recording, but I will, when I put it on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, if it's okay with you, Rachel, I'll put that packet as a resource available to just click on.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I'll put my email in the chat if you want it. I just want to thank you guys all for being here. It's really an honor that anybody would want to listen to me talk about music and music with kids. It's something I'm very passionate about. And so thanks for taking your time to be here and learn more about how you can incorporate music with your kids.
Well, and there's a real compliment there from Lori out in Cozad. She said this is a fabulous presentation. And Gail loved it too from Ainsworth. So yeah, they appreciate you sharing, and I do too, because this was a great Thursday morning meeting that we normally have here at Central Plains Library System. We get together on Thursdays. So I was glad you could join us and do your special presentation. But yes, I will definitely put it on YouTube and get the resources so that everybody can see what those are. Yes, and yes, that's the copy of the slideshow, Whitney, is it when I put it up on YouTube, the slideshow will be there, or you can go to the Central Plains Library Systems webpage, and I will put that in the chat. I can't talk and type at the same time, so that's my issue here. if you, on the web page, you just need to click on CPLS one-day conference. Underneath the picture, there's those words. Click on that, and then you can scroll down till you see Rachel's presentation. So you can get to it right away if you're anxious to start today. And Whitney said absolutely fabulous ideas. So like I say, if you need to get a hold of Rachel, her email is in the chat. Plainview said she uses ASL and music, but your great ideas were fantastic and gave her some more ideas. And I know who's at Plainview. It's Tamala. So Tamala is the one that said it, not Plainview Public Library. But yes, everybody can always get new ideas. And that's what's so much fun about talking to librarians.
Yeah.
Because everybody shares. So, and you've been very generous sharing. Thank you so much, Rachel. I really appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
All righty. Well, I'll turn in the CEs for the people who are here and those who reported having someone watch with them. I will report that as well. And get busy getting it ready for YouTube when Zoom's done with it. All righty.
Perfect.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you. See ya.